Is there a more perfect combination than peanut butter and chocolate? If so, I don't know of it, and today, we're going to be making that combo. On today's episode of Recipe Reviver, we're going to be cooking from this cookbook, which was put out by New Mexico Magazine, called The Best from New Mexico Kitchens, and this dates back to 1978, so we're not super old on this one, but we're going to be making a peanut butter fudge cake, and there's a recipe here for the actual cake as well as the frosting. We're going to be doing both. We're going to start by creaming our butter and sugar. We've got a 1/4 cup of butter here, and 2 1/4 cups of sugar, which is quite a bit. I have some peanut butter that's going to be creamed in there as well. This is 1 cup of peanut butter. And we're also going to put our vanilla into this mixture. After that's fully creamed together, we're going to add 3 eggs, and it says to add them 1 at a time. I have them just in a dish here, and I'll add the yolks and whatever whites fall into it 1 at a time and see how that goes. We're then going to sift together our dry ingredients. I've got 3 cups of flour here that I had pre-sifted, but now we're going to put in the other dry ingredients along with that. So I have baking soda here. It's 1 2/3 teaspoons. What a weird measurement, right? I mean, I've seen 1/4 teaspoons, 1/2 teaspoons. I don't think I've ever seen 1/3 teaspoons in a recipe, but I got as close as I could. And then also a 1/2 cup of cocoa. And that just went flying everywhere. You would think by now I would learn my lesson. And we have 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to sift all of that together into this bowl right here. Now, there's a technique with this cake that I have never done before, which is this right here. The recipe calls for ice cold water. And I have used ice water for pie crust. I have used ice water in other recipes. I have never used ice water for a cake. So this is going to be interesting. But we're going to alternate putting some water and our dry ingredients into the batter that we have started in the mixer here. The recipe states that we're going to put this into a greased and floured tube pan, and then that's going into a 350-degree oven for 1 hour. I just pulled the cake out of the oven, and as you can see, I'm working on another project here, which will probably be the recipe after this one, some Mexican meatballs. But we're going to let this rest here. The recipe says for 20 minutes in the pan, and then we're going to invert it onto a plate. While our cake continues to cool, we're going to turn our attention to the frosting, and in a pan we're going to dump 4 ingredients and then boil this up to a softball stage as if you were making candy or fudge or something like that, which is about 235, 240 degrees Fahrenheit. So we've got 2 cups of sugar, and again, all of this is just going to kind of be dumped together. I have 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and I have a cup of light cream, as well as 1/2 cup of peanut butter. So we're going to mix this all together, put it on the stove, and again, bring this up to a softball stage. Alright, I'm not sure how this is supposed to go, but the next step is to take this and beat it until it's creamy and spreadable. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen, but we're going to give it a try. I'll tell you this, when you're frosting this, make sure that you do it while the frosting is still somewhat warm, because once it starts to thicken up, it's really hard to spread. So get that frosting on there quick. But let me tell you what, this looks pretty good. The cake has a really nice looking crumb to it, And I am shocked that this frosting actually worked out. It took forever on the stand mixer to whip it up, but eventually it did whip up into something that resembled a frosting. And it's interesting that since this is called a peanut butter fudge cake, that making the frosting is very similar to making a fudge, which if you followed my channel at all, you know candy making is something I actually shy away from. I need to work on that. Maybe we'll come back to that and do a candy episode sometime soon. But let's give it a try. I'm actually really excited to try this. It's good, but it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a lot sweeter than it is for as much sugar as in there. It's a fairly mild flavor. It's not an overwhelmingly powerful flavored cake, but it works. And the frosting, again, it's fairly mild flavored. It's got a little bit of a chocolatey flavor, but that's kind of where I would stop. It's a little bit of a chocolatey flavor. Would I make this again? I actually would. I'm not sure that I would use that frosting. I think that if you're gonna have a mild flavored cake, you need a little bit stronger of a frosting. So I don't know what I would do for that. But this is a keeper. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time on Recipe Reviver.